Today, I'm going to tell you all a story. It's extreme, wild, and a huge contributor to the person I am today. So I hope that you all find it's worth your time. Not many people know this about me, but I was only 11 years old when my life changed forever. For better or for worse, that was yet to be determined. The only thing for certain was that I would either emerge from the experience to follow as a totally changed person or not emerge at all. My story begins in early 2013. During winter break of my 6th grade year, I became critically ill. While on a ski trip to the United States, I woke up in the middle of the night with a 106-degree fever and was rushed back to Canada into a local hospital where I was misdiagnosed with the flu. Within 12 hours, my condition had severely worsened, and I had to be taken by ambulance to McMaster Children's Hospital, where a series of frenzied tests confirmed that I had somehow contracted the following: meningitis, encephalitis, a septic infection, strep A invasive blood disease, orbital cellulitis, ileus, a gas pocket in my brain, dangerously low heart rates, and failure of multiple organ systems. Although I wasn't aware at the time, I had a very low chance of living through the next few days. My first 24 hours at Mac were very chaotic. I was undergoing various procedures in the intensive care unit, and there was mass concern that even if I didn't survive, I would experience lasting brain damage or other disastrous outcomes. Apparently at one point there were about 12 specialist doctors and multiple nurses gathered in my room, trying to figure out what could possibly help save me. My parents cornered the head emergency room pediatrician, who coincidentally was a family friend of ours. They were begging for information about me and hoping that he could assure them that I would pull through. This is what I've been told the doctor said: "I can't tell you that he will be okay. We're doing all that we can, and he's getting the best care possible. But Cole is standing atop a precipice on which he is swaying forwards and back. I can't tell you which way he will fall." All right, full disclosure, I'm going to say the word precipice a lot today, 12 times to be exact. So we might as well become acquainted with the definition. A precipice is a steep or sharp cliff with an overhanging face or vertical drop. The term is often used metaphorically to represent being on the verge of catastrophe or trying to delicately balance on an edge of some sort. In my case, it was that of life and death. So that's a pretty intense summary of my first few days of 2013. I'd now like to take a step back for a minute and talk about what led up to this experience and what eventually made it so significant. The first 11 years of my life were relatively uneventful in comparison to what would inevitably come. I attended a small Montessori school in Burlington, where I'd been in the same class of 6 people since kindergarten. I wouldn't have necessarily considered myself introverted, but I certainly wasn't overly outgoing back then. I struggled quite a bit with anxiety growing up. I had a lot of trouble trying new things and stepping outside of my comfort zone. I have vivid memories of being petrified of stepping onto a bus that was taking me on a 3-day school trip up north to Muskoka. For a long time, I was physically unable to try new and unique foods, and I'm not sure why, but there was a distinguishable fear that always lived inside of me, always holding me back. I never truly recognized it until I was faced with a situation in which fear was a logical reaction. Thus, when I became sick, I discovered something pivotal about fear: the fact that it will always exist within you, lingering in a dark corner of your brain, waiting for the slightest opportunity to leap out and capitalize on even the briefest moment of self-doubt. If it's not the fear of living through the night, then it's the fear of getting cut from a team, of performing poorly on a test, a fear of being excluded from an activity. Principles of physics explain how energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transformed, and I believe the same holds true for fear. It may change in shape and size, but it can never be entirely eradicated. But I've realized that this is okay, and the key to success and ultimate happiness is not futilely attempting to eliminate this fear, but instead learning how to manage it. Being so powerful, fear can be used to drive yourself to new heights. Embracing it can push you to try new things, to reach a point at which you are living life to the fullest. I was led to another discovery. I think that we should all strive to live life on the edge, to live life on a precipice. Not necessarily that of life and death, like what the doctor was referring to when describing my condition, but the precipice as in a state of mind in the way you interact with the world around you. I see this partly as living in the moment. Think about a mountain as a symbol, big and strong. People tend to live near the base, somewhere along the gentle, grassy slope. Not being confident enough to travel too far from the base in any direction, people stay mainly within their comfort zone. They're often left blinded until the last moment to incoming opportunities and obstacles by the surrounding forest. They miss more chances than they take, and life inadvertently begins to pass them by. I believe life becomes more meaningful as you travel up the mountain to steeper and rockier areas. As you climb higher, you are metaphorically embracing more of what life has to offer. It's easier to capitalize on opportunities as they come your way because when you're higher in altitude, you're able to see farther distances and can identify what is heading your direction well in advance. Whether it is a great chance for growth or a hard lesson that needs to be learned, you will have better odds of being able to take it in stride. True enlightenment, I believe, comes when you reach the summit. Up there, the winds of life are much stronger, but the air is fresh, and you're at your pinnacle state. You are living life on that precipice, taking risks, learning and growing in all that you do, and being fully engaged and heartful. The view is magnificent. Hard times are inevitable while going through life, especially when you put yourself atop that mountain, and you may find yourself teetering back and forth on that ledge. Just know that if you should fall, I'm certain you will be strong enough to make the climb again. Out of interest, I've done some research about other people's near-death experiences and what they encountered in comparison to my own discoveries. I've heard of people who describe seeing a brightly lit tunnel or being offered a choice of life or death by some holy figure or disembodied voice. I've had people ask me whether I experienced anything of a similar nature while I was on the brink, while I was teetering on that precipice. The shortest answer is no, or at least not to my own recollection. However, these inquiries put me in a position to ponder over what happens when we die, and got me thinking about the possibility that the answer is quite literally nothing. No heaven, no hell, no reincarnation or eternal anything. Keeping this possibility in mind, I think it becomes especially important to live life on that precipice while we're blessed enough to do so. If we can authentically engage ourselves in all that we do, then not only are we living in the moment, but we tend to enjoy the less significant things in life. I'll give an example. While I was hospitalized, I didn't have much to look forward to, so I naturally began to focus more on my present state. I began to find ecstatic joy in the smallest activities, FaceTiming my cousins to watch the Leafs game via an iPad propped up on a stepladder, or playing mini sticks in my hospital room. In those times, it was truly incredible just how basic my criteria for a good day became. Additionally, if the world was ending tomorrow, and this mortal life is indeed all that we have, you wouldn't stress over a math test. You wouldn't hold on to little grudges. You'd probably spend more time with your family, try new things, and take time to do what you love most. We never know when our own worlds might come crashing down, so I think we should aspire to live like this every single day. We should all strive to reach that precipice, that utmost method of living life, and accept all that will better us as people. I wholeheartedly believe that I have become a better version of myself since my illness for attempting to do this. So let's revisit 2013. Not January 2013, but September 2013, and there will be a big difference. Since being discharged from MAC, my PICC line, which is a long tube that ran inside my body from my left bicep to my vena cava in aid of administering medicine, it's been removed. I no longer require weekly blood work check-ins, and I even traveled to France over the summer, a trip that I had not long thought before would be impossible. I've started grade 7 at Appleby College, a fresh new school full of incredible opportunities. Soon, I'll try out for my very first team, middle school soccer. I'm starting to enjoy the piano lessons my parents once forced me to partake in, so maybe I'll try to learn a new instrument. Guitar or something, I don't know yet. Little do I know that I'll become comfortable going on school trips, to the perhaps overly extreme point of traveling halfway around the world to South Africa. There, I'll both figuratively and a couple times literally be standing on top of a precipice, getting the best possible view of life as it goes by. And just a side note, sunsets over the African savanna are truly breathtaking, and they alone are worth the climb to the top of your mountain. I'll be forced to eat different kinds of bugs, and although I might prefer a classic burger, I won't have a huge issue with trying this new thing like I would have before my illness. Little do I know that I'll become one of the funniest guys in the room. Little do I know. Okay, maybe not. Little do I know that I'll eventually have the honor of working alongside over 300 amazing young adults. Little do I know that I'll find myself heartbroken to have to say goodbye to the class of 2019 come next June. Sometimes I look back on my nights in the hospital and wonder what it would have been like to fall the other way off that precipice, to have never slipped back into reality. For most of my stay in McMaster Children's Hospital, I was taking morphine in heavy dosage. Morphine's an opioid narcotic or an intense pain-killing drug. Side effects include hallucinations, a false sense of security, and the craziest, most unbelievable dreams that you could ever experience. I can't really describe the sensation, but something makes these dreams so desirable to me, even today. Maybe it's because I was quite literally high out of my own mind, but perhaps it's because they represent a time where, despite fighting for my life, I somehow felt as if I had no cares in the world and that nothing really mattered. What I do know is that I often wonder if it would have been all that terrible to have never woken up from those dreams. But then I think about the last 6 years here and how spectacular they've been because of the perspective I gained while I was in the hospital. I think about everything I would have missed out on had I not been around. I think about living life on that mountain precipice, seizing opportunities, living in the moment, and embracing all that life has to offer. And I'm glad I tilted the right way. Now will you all please rise and sing as loudly and as brightly as you can, hymn number 423.